Happy day, Astro fam. I'm going to talk about the astrology of the upcoming week, the 22nd through the 28th. So we'll just kind of break it into little sections. All week long, though, the moon is waxing, so it's getting bigger and brighter in the sky every day that passes. So this is the time of the month to do the action, to focus on building and growing and being out here, being in the world that is being illuminated. So we're taking steps in the world. We are working on our to-do list. We're working on our goals. We're really moving forward in the direction. So if you don't know the direction you're moving, take a moment to just think about where am I going? What am I trying for? What am I striving for? Where am I moving? Is that the direction I want to be going or not? So that is also the time, the waxing moon is the time where we eat foods that give us life, that are building. So I always think about this time of the month, before I eat, I think about is this what I want to be made out of or not? I did pick up a couple of Snickers ice cream treats from the store yesterday, but that is neither here nor there. But for the most part, for most of what I ingest, I'm thinking okay, this is going to be building my body. Is this something I'm comfortable having as part of my foundation? So just think about that as you go through the rest of the week. Think about how you can take action for your dreams and for your goals, and think about kind of what you can put into place and what you can manipulate in your life. Not saying that you should manipulate other people, but you have a lot of control over how you spend your day, who you talk to, who you share your ideas with. So just this whole week is the theme is really going to be building and growing. So from a nutritional standpoint, eating vitality giving foods, life-giving foods that are alive and that you would like to have as part of your foundation. And then personal development is your goals and your dreams and thinking about the direction that you're moving into. Skincare. This is a good time for hydrating, for building. So we're building up our skin. You can think about building gut flora or building your skin, hydrating your skin. It's really good to just be hydrated. This is the time of the month where I will put lotions and creams and potions on my skin. Whereas when the moon is waning, I like to focus on the cleaning and the scrubbing and getting all the buildup and everything off. So hydrate, moisturize, build your dream life, build your boundaries, build your gut, build whatever it is that you are trying to build. And this is really the time where all the energies are gonna be in your favor. They're gonna be helping you. So Monday and Tuesday, specifically, we have the moon in Cancer. This is a very nurturing place for the moon to be. The moon loves to be in Cancer. The moon represents our emotional body. So to have our emotional body being touched by an emotional sign, feelings can be just a little bit closer to the surface. Maybe we remember things that hurt our feelings in the past, or we think about feelings are just easier to access. So be kind to yourself Monday and Tuesday. Give yourself room to feel what you need to feel, and also remember that there are other people out there that are also feeling what they need to feel. So have some grace for yourself and others, because it's hard to know what is really going on with someone else. Yesterday, Mars squared Jupiter. So if I can give them personalities, Mars would be the warrior. So think about a warrior, and then Jupiter would be Santa Claus. They have different feels. The warrior is instinctual, it's motivated, it knows what it wants, and it wants to go out and get it. It's that part of ourselves, that kind of masculine energy that drives us forward. Whereas Jupiter is more like Santa Claus. It's more about I want to give, I want to give, I want to give, I want to be generous, I want to be optimistic, I want to have all these gifts and share them with everybody, I want to expand, I want to grow, I want to focus on optimism and what feels good. So to have those two characters interacting with each other, it can feel like a lot of different things. I personally, when I see that in the sky, I think that it gives an element of optimism to your motivation. I think it gives an element of like, oh yeah, well watch this. Like it's a little bit more fun and lighthearted. Like, you think I can't? Watch me, I'm gonna do it. And that kind of energy moves us into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which is when the moon is going to be in Leo. So that is a fire sign. That's a lot different than having the moon in a soft, watery placement that is more susceptible or more like perceptive, I guess, to the subtle rhythms that lie underneath. Having the moon in a fire sign is not subtle. It's not subtle at all. Usually when, I always think of little kids and like temper tantrums and how they feel something so intensely that they have no option but to do something about it. So they're screaming or they're banging shit together or they're knocking stuff over. That's kind of what moon and fire sign feels like, especially moon and Leo. There is a little bit of that like little kidness to it, where we're not just excited, we're like super excited, and we're not just in love, we're like super in love. And it's that inner child that kind of just, there's a little bit more freedom. There's a little bit less like should, would, could, kind of, it just is what it is. The emotional volume knob is turned a little bit up higher. This is creative energy. This Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are especially good days to do something physical. So move your body in a way that induces a sweat. I always, when the moon's in a fire sign, I always think of a tea kettle and how like the pressure builds and the pressure builds and the pressure builds and the steam has to come out. And sometimes it screams and sometimes it's really loud, but it has to go somewhere. So a good way to work with that extra energy, that extra childlikeness, that volume knob on the emotional body turned up higher, is to exert yourself, to tire yourself out, to press that release valve and let some of that steam go. Or else what we do is we carry it with us and then we have an explosion around someone that we care about, or we target someone with our frustration, or it will suddenly become an unhealthy expression of all that really great energy. Let's see, on Friday, so moon will be in Leo. Venus will sextile Uranus. So this is, Uranus is the planet of unpredictable changes. It's the planet of the rebel that doesn't really listen to what anybody else is saying, that they're just going to go on their own beat, their own path, and it might be shocking or disruptive to other people. But that's none of their business, like it doesn't matter. So when Venus, the very feminine planet of like values and desire, but in a more like way, not like I'm gonna go out and get it that Mars is. Venus is more feminine. It represents the feminine energy. So to have Venus having this really fun, fast, flighty relationship with Uranus, this is a good time to be spontaneous in your love life Friday. Do something that you wouldn't normally do. Go out on a date. I have this little book of date ideas that you scratch the date off and then you figure out what it is and you have to go do it. And there's some really funny ones, like find a picture of your parents from their first date and go to a thrift store and try to find the exact outfit for your partner that your parents were wearing, or whatever, and then go out to dinner in your outfits that you picked out for each other. Do something out of the norm. Do something that is unpredictable for yourself, that isn't a part of your routine, and that is just gonna feel really good. It's gonna feel like you and your partner connect, and it doesn't have to be a romantic partner. Like you can do this with a girlfriend or a child or anyone that you value in relationship. But do something fun, do something spontaneous, do something unpredictable Friday, and I think that it will just feel really good. It'll make you feel yourself. Saturday and Sunday, the moon will be in Virgo. This takes our emotional body into a more practical, steady kind of a place. Now, there can be some nervousness or anxiety. Virgo is a mutable sign, so there is some adaptability there. It's not as like rigid and structured and stoic as Capricorn or Taurus. So it does have a little bit more wiggle room, a little bit more flightiness, a little bit more nerves or anxiety. This is when our emotional body we're going to, if we're triggered emotionally, less likely going to want to take action, more likely going to want to sort out exactly what happened and why it happened and how we can prevent this from happening again. You get a feel for how earth is different than fire. Fire, we feel something, we have to do something right away. Earth is we feel something and maybe we analyze it more before we take action. Saturday and Sunday will be really good days to focus on your healthy routine, to be of service to someone else or to yourself, to be selfless, to analyze kind of where you're going, what you're building towards. Are the steps that you're taking moving you in the direction that you want to be going, or are your steps taking you in a weird sideways trajectory that you didn't really plan on? Saturday is the first quarter, so the moon will be half bright and half dark. This is a good checkpoint. Again, I feel like I've said this 5 times already, but this is a really good checkpoint to see is, am I building, am I working in a way that is smart and effective, or am I running myself into the ground for no reason? Like, this is it's the checkpoint day, Saturday. And Sunday, this was kind of a big feeling. The sun will square Saturn. Saturn, I think of the headmaster. So it's the person that's going to find you if you haven't done your homework. It's the person that's going to tell you to slow down if you're walking too fast in the hallway. And the sun is our internal light. It's our vital life force energy. It's how we show up. So to feel the self at odds with the headmaster, there's a little bit of, we may feel like just a little bit more somber Sunday or Saturday and Sunday. We may feel somehow like something is restricting us or something is limiting us, or there is some external force that is like making you sit down. A lot of times I notice when there's Saturn action going on in the sky, it can feel a little bit like you have your foot on the gas and then you have the other one on the brake, and you wonder like, why can't I go? Like, why is this not working? I'm putting my foot on the gas. I need to be able to move. So Saturn is it carries that energy of restriction, limitation. People always freak out when I say those words. Those are not bad words. It's the restriction and the limitation. Sometimes it's perceived. Sometimes it's these things that we think are limiting us, or we think we can't go forward, and it's all made up in our head. So you may have to face some of the perceived restrictions or limitations Saturday and Sunday. It's the willpower that we find when we're sitting there with our foot on the gas and foot on the brakes to keep going that creates foundational bonds going forward. So if you're feeling restricted, limited, you're feeling that foot on the gas, foot on the brake feeling around your creativity. Still trying, still working through it, still recognize like the humility of being like, this is harder than it normally is, but I'm going to keep going. That is when you level up. That's when you get better. That's when you make strides that are not only moving you forward, but they're building something for you to stand on. So you're building foundations. So this Saturn square sun can bring, if you do feel pressure, if you do feel uncomfortable, just know that it's going to pass. It's going to be okay. And the things that trigger you, the things that come up, the things that you're thinking about or fixating on, have something to teach you. So Saturday and Sunday, with the moon in a more practical place, Saturday is the first quarter, so we stop to examine everything we've done over the last week, and then everything we want to do over the next week. And then that Sun square Saturn it's highlighting where we might feel restricted or we might feel limited. And that is where we find answers for ourselves. For going forward, that's where we find perseverance, and it's the glue that holds bonds together. So don't beat yourself up. Don't be hard on yourself. If it feels uncomfortable, that's okay. It really is okay. If you do start to feel nervous, anxious, uncomfortable, do some foundational things just to get your feet on the ground. So if you're swirling and twirling up in your head, Stop to feel your feet on the floor. Stop to feel your bones, where they are, where's your foundation, and then maybe to calm yourself or soothe yourself, think about some steps, some actions that you can take. Maybe make a list, maybe make an outline for different things that you can do, and just do your best to work with the practical energy that is around us. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope you have an amazing week, and thanks for listening.